You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687. 687.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Sometimes riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
My name is Jessie, and I'm proud of the life I have, surrounded by military and aware just how big the world really is. I have a unique perspective on life and the world around us. If you're willing to listen, I'll tell you how I see it, and I won't pull any punches. This is my POV, which stands for Point of View. Alright, it's Jessie. How's everybody doing out there today? Yes, I miss you when we're not talking. Alright, you all know the big news, right? Yeah, Saudi Arabia started issuing driver's licenses to women. No, I know that's not the news you were expecting to hear come out of my mouth. Although it is actually big news, it's just been drowned out. I will get to Shanghai in just a few moments, but I'm not going to lead off with it. I know it's what you were all expecting me to lead with, but it ain't happening. It just ain't happening. So, yes, Saudi Arabia issued 10. Yes, I said 10 driver's licenses to women. And you're looking at me like, that's it? Hey, that's pretty insane for the House of Saud. So, let's talk about it for just a couple of minutes. Saudi Arabia issued driver's licenses to 10 women. It's a historic move. Trust me, historic. It's 20 days before the government had planned to lift its long-standing ban on women driving. The surprise announcement followed the detention of a number of Sauds who had campaigned for women's right to drive. Some of them are still being held and have been accused of grave crimes that the government has said sought to undermine the security and stability of the kingdom. Yes, the official title for Saudi Arabia is the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The lifting of the driving ban was championed by Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, a son of the Saudi king. Prince Mohammed has ordered a number of changes that seek to diversify the kingdom's oil-dependent economy and improve life for Saudis overall. Many Saudis have applauded what they say are efforts to make life in their ultra-conservative kingdom more like life elsewhere. But Prince Mohammed's critics say the changes have come with a heavy dose of authoritarianism that has further restricted Saudis' already limited margins for expression. Along with opening commercial movie theaters and promoting women's employment, Prince Mohammed has arrested scores of clerics, businessmen, and some of his own royal relatives. Remember, they turned the hotel into a prison for a while? Yes, the Riyadh Ritz-Carlton. Yes, they were locked in the Ritz-Carlton last year, accused of corruption and pressed to turn over many of their assets to the government. It was not immediately clear why the 10 women received their driver's licenses on Monday, 20 days before the official lifting of the ban, or whether that meant the driving ban that had been in effect was lifted early. A government press office announced the news and provided quotations from the women along with photographs of them with their new licenses. The dream became a reality. The woman thanked both King Salman and Prince Mohammed. The announcement said 2,000 more Saudi women could receive their driver's licenses next week, but it provided no details about who they were or where the licenses would be issued. Alright, here's what you guys don't understand. Allowing women to drive in Saudi Arabia is huge news. And I don't know if you can keep up with this, but up until recently, women couldn't drive. They had to either take public transportation, a cab, or rely on a man to take them everywhere. They had a kid with a doctor's appointment. Someone had to drive them. They had to walk or take public transit. They couldn't hold jobs. They couldn't do any of the sort. Now, why this is so big? It gives them freedom. And it put them at a disadvantage. It really did, because now women could actually get to work without having to rely on taxis. And now they are limited to certain professions. However, this has begun to change, because more young Saudi women than men are graduating college and working in fields that they used to be locked out of. Like I said, it's one of those, this is groundbreaking. This is the equivalent of women in America getting the right to vote. This is the equivalent of women no longer being treated as second-class citizens. And it's absolutely amazing to see it. Now, I know I'm kind of chatting and typing all at the same time, so you have to pardon me for 2 seconds here. But this, between the movie theaters and the driver's licenses, I can't overstress the impact this has. I mean, I can't even begin to stress it. And I know you're all sitting here going, I don't get it. But trust me, it's one of those, yeah, this just happened. Now, it's a dream. It's been a dream in Saudi society. Now, not everybody agrees with it. Parts of Saudi society remain deeply conservative, and some men could prevent their female relatives from driving, despite the lack of legal means to do so. The recent arrest singled out a number of men and women who have been involved in challenging the driving ban, including some who drove around the Riyadh capital to publicly protest the driving ban in 1990. Among those still detained are Aman al-Nafjan and Aziza al-Youssef, both academics and women's rights campaigners. Lujan al-Hathloul was detained for more than 70 days in 2014 when she tried to drive her car into Saudi Arabia from the United Arab Emirates. And also detained was Ibrahim Mudaim Meg, the lawyer who defended her. Addressing the recent arrest, the kingdom's public prosecution office said that 17 people had been detained on charges that include cooperating with people and organizations hostile to the kingdom, and providing financial and moral support to hostile elements abroad. 8 of those arrested were released after their cases were reviewed. The statement said that, according to the statement, 5 men and 4 women are still detained. No one was identified by name. Alright, so yes, I chose to lead off with that. I know it wasn't the lead story you were expecting. You were expecting me to start in on Shanghai. But I didn't. What can I say? I didn't. Because why didn't I? Well, I didn't because everybody's talking about it. I didn't because it's sucking the air out of everything. Alright, now, the women did have to take a brief driving test before receiving their licenses, as they'd already held licenses from other countries. Some of the countries they held licenses from were the UK, Lebanon, and Canada. Like I said, it's absolutely amazing. It's a small change in the grand scheme of things, but I can't stress its importance. Alright, moving right along. There's one other thing I want to touch on before I get to North Korea. And the reason I'm doing the other stories first, there actually is a reason behind it. It's not just because I can. My reason behind it is I know once I get on to North Korea, that's going to suck the air out of my broadcast too. Because once I start talking about the summit on June 12th, yes, that's part of the show prep, we all know I'm not coming back to anything else. And it don't take a brain surgeon to figure that one out. And so I've got 2 more things. There we go. Found them. Sometimes it takes me a minute to find stuff in this stack of show prep, as much as I try and have it somewhat organized. Alright. There was a meeting of top Muslim clerics in Kabul who issued what's called a fatwa, a religious ruling, and they issued it against suicide bombing. Yeah, that's pretty amazing. And like I said, I'm willing to bet you haven't heard it anywhere because everyone's been going North Korea, North Korea, North Korea all day long. Hence why I wanted to touch on it. Well, of course, what would happen at a meeting with Afghan's top clerics in Kabul? A suicide bombing. Just after they issued a fatwa against suicide bombings. Yeah, go figure. I thought it was both ironic and annoying. It killed at least 7 and wounded approximately 18 people. They issued the fatwa against suicide bombings and urged peace talks to end the Afghan war. Ghaffur Aziz, police chief for Kabul's 5th district, said the bomber detonated his explosives near the entrance of a compound where the religious body known as the Afghan Ulma Council was meeting under the traditional tent of the Loya Jirga. A Jirga is a council of elders. No one has claimed responsibility for this attack. Had the attacker penetrated further into the compound, the casualty numbers would be significantly higher. This is wonderful that the fatwa was issued, and then horrifically ironic that a suicide bomber tried to take them out. Literally, less than an hour before the attack happened, Gofranullah Murad, a member of the council, read out the written statement saying that innocent Afghan men, women, and children are the true victims of the 17-year-long war. And I'm going to quote this, and I don't have audio because, well, I don't understand Arabic or Farsi in spoken, and I'm guessing you don't either. So I didn't even try and find it. The ongoing war in Afghanistan is illegal and has no root in Sharia, aka Islamic translation law for you guys, Sharia law. The statement said it is illegal according to Islamic laws and does nothing but shed the blood of Muslims. We, the religious Ummah, call on the Taliban to respond positively to the peace offering of the Afghan government in order to prevent further bloodshed in the country. The fatwa also said that killing people by any means, such as bombs and suicide attacks, as well as violent acts including robbery and kidnapping, count as sins in Islam. Elsewhere in Kabul, there were 3 civilians, including a woman, were wounded when a sticky bomb attached to their car went off. Yep, this wasn't the only bombing today in Afghanistan. The Taliban in April announced the start of their annual spring offensive, but in recent years the insurgent group and also Daesh, or ISIS, carry out near-daily attacks throughout all seasons. The Taliban have managed to seize control of several districts across the country and regularly target Kabul. That's the capital for all those of you living under rocks. Both militant groups seek to establish strict Islamic law in the country. Their relentless assaults underscore the struggles that the Afghan forces have faced since the United States and NATO concluded their combat mission at the end of 2014. Even though we formally concluded our combat mission, thousands of American troops remain in Afghanistan in a counterterrorism and supporting role. They call it advise and assist, for those of you keeping up with the terms. Alright, 1, maybe 2 more stories, and then we are going to take that commercial break. A Russian pilot believed to have been shot down and killed 30 years ago during the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan has been found alive. What? Yes. The pilot was shot down in 1987 and is approximately in his 60s. Now, Pakistan used to be where Afghanistan had camps for prisoners of war. The pilot has not been named for reasons of confidentiality, but yes, there are some Soviet pilots, former Russian or aka Soviet Union pilots, because back when this happened, it was the Soviet Union. Because remember, the conflict was between 79 and 89. That's a decades-long conflict. 125 Soviet planes were shot down in Afghanistan. When Soviet troops pulled out of the country in 1989, around 300 soldiers were listed as missing, and since then, some 30 have been found, and most have been returned to their home countries. The Russian newspaper Kommersant reports that just one Soviet pilot was shot down in 1987, and they actually named him, Sergei Patuluk, from Rostov region in southern Russia. The head of a local veterans organization said Mr. Patuluk's mother and sister are both still alive. A newspaper also traced Mr. Patuluk's 31-year-old daughter, who was born just months before her father went missing. The discovery of this pilot is not the only such case, and a retired colonel who requested anonymity said he'd met an ex-Soviet soldier during a trip to Afghanistan a few years ago. The soldier refused to give his name, spoke Russian with difficulty, and said it was too late for him to return. In 2003, it was revealed that a former Red Army conscript who disappeared on the battlefield in 1980 was still alive in Afghanistan. He had been presumed dead by his superiors after being seriously wounded, but was nursed back to health by the locals near Herat before converting to Islam. He stayed in Afghanistan because the Afghans are kind and hospitable people. Unlike what we think of the Taliban. Like I said, for those of you who don't know, I need to inject something real quick here, and it's called Pashtunwali. It's a code that's very prevalent in Afghanistan, and it means basically you take care of your guests. You take care of them in a very serious, stringent way, and if need be, you fight to the last man in the village to protect them. All right. One more story, and then we're going to take that commercial break. We're going to discuss Iran for a minute. And I'm sure you're all looking at me going, Iran? Trust me, Iran. And you're still looking at me sideways. Bear with, trust me, it all ties together. There's been a critical question lately. Is there actually a strategic plan for the Middle East? Well, we could say yes, we could say no. But you have to look at Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, and Lebanon. And don't forget Yemen. And you look at it as some people say there's a coherent strategy and some people say there's not. Some fighters carry Iranian passports, even though they live in eastern Iran. Almost all of them are volunteers. One was killed by a missile of unknown origin near Golan Heights. Wait, I just mentioned Golan Heights. That's Israel. Or Palestine, or the Palestinian territory, whatever you want to call it. the Golan Heights. At first, he was part of a brigade that was set up to defend Shiite holy sites in Syria, or as Comil prefers to stress, defend humanity and weak people. But yet he was killed in Golan Heights. He engaged in direct combat with an assortment of Salifa jihadis from Daesh and Jabhat al-Nusra to smaller outfits that were part of the vast, rambling Free Syrian Army umbrella. He was on the front lines for 3 non-stop years, fighting mostly near Damascus. He was also present at the liberation of Aleppo. Wait a minute, I said Iran. No, I'm not crazy. In contrast to the propaganda barrage across the Beltway, Comil is adamant there are no Iranian Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps or the IRGC military commanders in the area. They don't fight with Fatah Mayun and Hezbollah. They fight side by side. The Iranians are essentially military advisors. He depicted Fatah Mayun as totally independent outfit. This would indicate their military training was mostly acquired as members of the Afghan army, not via the IRGC. Comil had said the fabled Quds Force commander, General Qasim Soleimani, did visit the group, but only once. Each force is responsible for their own area of operations. Yes, trust me, this is real. Now, the Obama administration admitted at least that Iranian military advisors, alongside Russia, Air Power, and Hezbollah, helped the Syrian... Oh, I just lost the acronym. The moderate Syrians to defeat Daesh and other Salafi jihadist outfits in Syria. But when Trump took over, he's in sync with Israel and Saudi Arabia. Remember, I've told you before, Saudi and Israel have started a very quiet coalition. It's all black and white. All forces under Iranian command have to leave Syria. That would include Fatah Mayun. That's not going to happen. The virtual total collapse of what is loosely defined in the Beltway as moderate rebels, Al-Qaeda in Syria, yielded a power vacuum daily occupied by Damascus, and Damascus still needs all these forces to extinguish Salafi jihadism for good. Iranian experts influence an arc from Afghanistan to Iraq, Syria, and Lebanon. And don't forget, they fund the Houthis in Yemen. The Islamic Republic has a specific strategy in the region. They have specific principles and friends. In addition, they have a coherent understanding of their enemy, and they know where they stand for the next 20 years. They try to use their capabilities carefully and manage the job gradually. This has nothing to do with a threatening Shiite crescent, as Jordan's King Abdullah has suggested way back in 2004. It's essentially been a slow-motion Iranian counter-coup against the United States' non-strategy across Southwest Asia, ever since shock and awe in 2003. The Quds Force, formed during the Iran-Iraq War in the 1980s, is the extraterritorial extension of the IRGC. Yes, this is no imaginary faction. It's no one-off. It's not something you can easily label, or contain. Alright, folks, and now you know why I rail against the IRGC. I don't usually rail against the military of another country. But this is no normal military. Alright, folks, I hope I have made my point. And we are going to pay those radio station bills, and I will see you on the other side.
They fight and die for our freedom. No one had to ask them to go without a moment's hesitation. For the red, white, and blue.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Sometimes riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
They fight and die for our freedom. No one had to ask them to go without a moment's hesitation. For the red, white, and blue.
All right, thank y'all for hanging in there with me while we paid those radio station bills. All right, we are turning to the topic. You have all been wondering why I haven't been talking about it all night. Well, quite frankly, it had been kicked to death all day on the news, and I wanted to make sure you heard something else from me besides North Korea. My ability to do North Korea for an hour is well established. All right. I've got some awesome audio. Now, this is a little bit rough. It's from Secretary of Defense Mattis. He held a press gaggle on his plane.
And immediately it's back on.
All right, let me get to the right spot. Here we go.
No, oh, I see. No, I mean, you remember how everyone went crazy? Oh gosh, it's off when a bad letter comes in, and immediately it's back on. Welcome to reality. You know, it's only on TV that it all goes and everything's fitting together and all. You know.
He has said that everyone flipping out because the summit was off, on, then off, then on. Then off. Now it's back on. He's basically telling everybody, take a chill. This is normal. This stuff doesn't always fit together.
How many times has DPRK carried on an international negotiation?
Anybody got an answer to that? Anybody? How many times has North Korea done an international negotiation? Well, Mattis has one for us.
Best I can figure, it's once, back in about 1955 or 60 when they made their treaty with PRC.
PRC, People's Republic of China. One international negotiation. The next line's just way too humorous.
I don't think I've ever been in an international negotiation. You have more experience, obviously, than a lot of people do in putting something like this together even.
Yes. He said the reporters may have more experience. And reporters and his staff, because guess what? The DPRK, North Korea, has never done it.
DPRK loomed large in almost all of my discussions, but it was surprising commonality about, a complete, verifiable, irreversible destruction of WMD, starting with nuke and WMD. The hopes on riding with the diplomats, no surprise. I mean, this is all pretty...
He doesn't want to have to put artillery into play. Trust me. Remember, he is the warrior monk. He wore the uniform. He can often be found at Arlington, walking the newer sections, looking at the graves of the men and women who served under him, who gave their last full measure.
I don't know what more to really say about it because agenda's being put together, as you know, in 2 other locations. So we'll see how it goes. But a lot of support across the board. Wherever on other issues we might disagree, I did not hear any disagreement on this. On DPRK, one thing that keeps coming up is about our troop strength on the peninsula.
This is important.
I'll say it again. I'm not making news here. I'm the same thing. They're not going anywhere. It's not even a subject of the discussion.
Troops on the Korean Peninsula are there to stay.
5 years from now, 10 years ago, now it changes. Of course, that can be up for review. That would be between a democracy called the Republic of Korea and a democracy called the United States of America. And it actually has United Nations equities in it as well, because there's a United Nations flag flying over that headquarters there. Matter of fact, I got a chance to meet the Canadian Lieutenant General this morning, who's coming in to be the Deputy Commander of the UN Command.
Yes. A large majority of the forces in Korea, particularly those at the DMZ, work under the United Nations flag. Newsflash.
I'm just telling you this because I don't know what more I can say. But if you have questions next week.
And he also said, and I'm looking for the clip, he said it's going to be a bumpy ride.
Is that an issue that came up this morning in your meeting, and are allies very concerned about it? And then I have a quick China question.
Lita, it is everyone who brought it up in bilats basically reiterated the same thing. You told us you're not going. We know you're not going. I mean, here's the Canadian minister sitting next to me at a breakfast this morning, and right behind him, just Lieutenant General, they're plugging in. I mean, the nations are even putting people in. They're talking about bringing in light.
Okay, more about troop strength on the Korean Peninsula. I'm trying to find the bumpy ride clip.
I get it. I get asked it every time in the Pentagon press room. I've just decided it's just something that's going to be out there because once someone's made it up.
Oh, let's see what he was talking about, because I missed that too.
So, basically that we're all standing together. I really don't know where this stuff comes from.
Okay, let's back up a little bit further, because now I got my curiosity up.
The nations are even putting people in. They're talking about...
Basically, were we pulling off out of the peninsula? And he's like, nope. And I don't know why everybody keeps talking about it, because we ain't going anywhere. Alright, well, I am going to move on from trying to find that clip. Maybe I will get it for you. But Mattis has said that this is going to be a bumpy ride. This is not going to be smooth as silk. North Korea has not done international negotiations except with China, who is essentially their big brother. Now, there's been a couple of interesting developments in North Korea. Yep. There's been a couple of interesting ones. And I'm sure you're looking at me like, what? Oh, I promise you. Now, I don't know if you've heard, but guess what? There have been some staff changes on the Korean Peninsula. On the North Korean side, specifically. And basically, all of North Korea's 3 top military officials are believed to have been replaced. Yeah. No Kwan-chol, who was the first vice minister of the People's Armed Forces, replaced Pak Young-sik as defense chief, while Ri Mung-soo, chief of KPA's general staff, was replaced by his deputy, Ri Yong-gil. And that's, of course, add to this Army General Kim Soo-gil's replacement of Kim Young-gok as director of the General Political Bureau and the Korean People's Army. Now, that replacement was confirmed in a North Korean state media report. Why did he make these changes right before he left for Shanghai? Why right before the summit? Well, there's talk of, and I keep saying Shanghai, I know it's Singapore. But why would he do it? Well, there's talk that he did it so that there would be less risk of a coup. Yes, there is speculation that he doesn't have the ironclad grip on the country that he portrays. Now, Kim Jong-un's dance card, for lack of a better term, seems to be filling up. Putin has invited him. Oh, yeah. Putin has invited him to visit Vladivostok. Now, I don't see whether he's going to attend this before or after the summit. And the invitation was made via Putin's letter recently delivered by his top diplomat. So this could be interesting. We don't know if he's accepted. And the other thing that's interesting, and I just don't know if who's gonna travel on this one. But Bashar al-Assad is actually considered. Bashar al-Assad would go to North Korea. Syrian President Bashar al-Assad has expressed interest in traveling to North Korea to meet with Kim Jong-un. And we don't know if this is going to be before the summit or after the summit. So like I said, Kim Jong-un's dance card is getting pretty full. First of all, he met with President Moon, the president of South Korea. Before that, he met with China. So he did China, South Korea, China. And now there's talk of Syria and Russia and the United States. If all this gets pulled off prior to the summit, I don't know what's going on. Now, this could just be outreach from Assad to North Korea for any number of reasons. It could be North Korea trying to act like a normal country and have all these diplomatic visits. Now, this will be Assad's only trips outside Syria since 2011 have been to Russia. However, if you look at how close Russia and North Korea are, this doesn't surprise me. I mean, who knows what's actually going to happen? Now, there's talk, and I haven't seen anything new on it, that there may be a side summit or a secondary meeting in which Moon may fly to Singapore to meet with Kim Jong-un. And there's talk of a possible official declaration of the end of the Korean War. And Moon wants to declare the end of the war as soon as possible. Now, the current administration is divided on whether agreeing to a peace treaty at the outset of talks would give away a significant concession too early. We don't need to give anything up. Now, normally summits, and this is what sets this one apart, we know what's going to happen at these summits before the meeting happens. You know, it was one of those things, Trump landed in Saudi Arabia, 5 hours later there's $1 billion worth of arms sales to the kingdom. That didn't happen in 5 hours. That happened over several weeks. That happened weeks and months prior. They just made a big spectacle out of it after he landed. And I don't know if North Korea is actually playing ball or if he's blowing smoke. I seriously don't. And you're looking at me like, sorry, my mind reading skills seem to be on the fritz today.
Alongside our allies and partners, America remains committed to maintaining the region's security, its stability, and its economic prosperity, a view that transcends America's political transitions and will continue to enjoy Washington's strong bipartisan support.
Pardon the music. Yes, that's how the DoD put it out. Now, here's one from Mike Pompeo about North Korea.
We think that, working together, the people of the United States and North Korea can create a future defined by friendship and collaboration, not by mistrust and fear and threats. We sincerely hope that Chairman Kim Jong-un shares this positive vision for the future. We expect both leaders to enter the summit in Singapore that proceeds with their eyes wide open and with a clear understanding of the possibilities for the future. If these talks are successful, it will truly be historic. It will take bold leadership from Chairman Kim Jong-un if we are able to seize this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to change the course for the world.
That's pretty interesting commentary.
We welcome the Panmunjom Declaration for Peace, Prosperity, and Unification of the Korean Peninsula that was announced in April. We can anticipate at best a bumpy road to the negotiation. As defense ministers, we must maintain a strong, collaborative defensive stance so we enable our diplomats to negotiate from a calm position of strength.
Yes, and believe it or not, you couldn't see it, but Mattis said all that while pouring himself a glass of water. Now, just as a reminder, you can follow me on Twitter at Radio Host Jesse. You can email me at the station at jesse@klrnradio.com. Yes, I am actually winding up on time, if not just a few moments early. And I will see you all tomorrow night here on Jesse's POV. 'Cause I'm gone.